Good morning, folks. Monday morning. I'm going to... These are all the small ones. Down below the camera, I'll show you in a little bit. The wider ones are going to be for the big gable ends. But I want to go ahead and clean these up a little bit. And probably just get these edges nice and true is all I want to do. No, Sage, we're not playing. So we'll use this today, which has been working out really well. They are really thin, but for that small gable end, I think they'll be perfect. And the wider ones, I don't know that I have enough for one gable end, but I've got windows in them. So what I'd like to do is get the small gable end in first. That'll be my practice one because I've never done them before. And then I'll start on the probably the back side gable end, because it's got trim made for around the windows. The other side I haven't made trim yet. It's been snowing for a few days here, so it's all white here. It's thin layer. I expect it to melt away eventually. I don't think we've got snow that will actually stick around more than maybe a week at a time. But whenever there's condensation, and if it's at night, it'll be snow here. That end's a little screwy, but This is longer than I need, so I'm not going to worry about that. I want to keep as much width as I can. So you can see the shop's working pretty good. I got the diesel heater on. I'm trying it out. I've been running it. I actually was able to start it up with the app on my phone, standing on my deck outside my cabin, which is probably, I'm going to say at least 100 feet away. So that worked pretty good. Fired it up. It was around 31 degrees this morning when I turned it on, and it was 28 degrees earlier today, so it was very cold. And now it's about 44 degrees in here. Now remind you that this thing is 350 square feet just on the lower level, and heat also will go into the upper level, and it's also only plastic wrapped around the building. There's no insulation anywhere, so extremely cold weather, but I'm putting it up a few degrees, making it workable in here. It does get much colder here in the winter, so we'll see. I mean, if we get down to the negatives, I probably won't be able to come out here and work. I don't think until I can get this totally sealed in that would actually heat it up to like 70 degrees in here in the winter, and I think it will. Well, good morning. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting some shingles, some small ones, the smallest ones I have that I made last year on here. I'll go ahead and put a little piece here just to step out the first one, just so it comes out past this. Let's see here. I just got a good tight fit, and that's all I have to do, just so it kicks it out. Okay. It's hard to see in this lighting. There we go. All right, double check that. That was hard to cut. Yeah, it's adequate. I mean, it could come down a little bit with a little sanding if I wanted to. I don't think it's gonna matter. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pre-drill it I got some finish nails. I'm gonna grab a finish nail and we'll pop that in there permanent. We're doing a 3-inch. Make sure it's level when I do it. Really need some new drill bits. I'm not going to get this done tonight. It's starting to get dark. It's just so cold. Winter's here. That way I make sure I stay straight. I'm going to have probably 2 in the middle at the top here. I thought I'd just do 1, but looks like I'm going to end up with 2. So it'll work out fine. That's kind of, oh, that's kind of come out. That was kind of in the way, but not anymore. more. Ooh, rotted away. Oh. That'll work, I think. Let's see here. How am I going to do this? Ah, this should work. Okay, folks, that's going to dry a little bit now. Sage wants to play with a toy, so let's give her two of them. One that way. There we go. Anyway, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stain them with the Tahoma brown stain, and I'll do that on the ends too. So the shingles that I had made previously for the other end, I'm going to hold off and save those for a building that's going to go right here, a shed at the end of this building here. And that's going to house my propane tank. So that log I put on the mill yesterday I want to mill it today. So we'll start working on that, and that's going to be the shingles. That'll be wider shingles and longer. These are really short because that's a little teeny section, less than 3 feet was the lowest span. And it turned out okay. Not perfect. It was a lot harder to work on using 7-inch shingles instead of something that's like twice as long. 14 to 16-inch shingles would be optimum. And also a bevel on them to where when you overlap, they're beveled low at the top, so your overlap, the thick part's always at the bottom. That's what I'm going to do here with this log that I'm going to cut. We're going to mill shingles on a shingle making tool that I got from Norwood Mills back when I bought my mill. It's the same tool I use to make my lap siding, and that's the same design. The lap siding is thin here, thick here, and then each one overlaps really nice. So I didn't want to do it originally, but now I've made up my mind. After installing these, I realized that I prefer that method over the handmade shingles, because handmade shingles are more even. If anything, one side of them's thinner than the other. Completely the opposite of what you really want. Still functional, it just doesn't lay as nice. So that's why I'm doing it. As far as being perfect and everything, they don't have to be perfect on the walls because you're not going to get a lot of water on the walls. I don't get a ton of wind here. So without further ado, let's go over to this log and start preparing to mill it. I've got to set the machine up. I got to get water in it. And I have some water sitting inside that I can pour in it that's not cold. And then I got to drain it at the end of the milling process for the day so it doesn't freeze up my lines. All right, so I got the log here. I'm going to move these log dogs to right here. And 2 reasons. It's a shorter log. It does go across this bunker. This bunker is 8 foot from the farthest one. And that's about a 9-foot log. And then the tool that's going to go on here tomorrow, after I turn this into a block, and then I'll dissect it up into like 18-inch blocks. That's 8 foot long, so it'll land on each bunker, and these log dogs got to hold the tool in place on here, and then the tool will hold the blocks of wood. I'll do 2 blocks at a time. So I'll show you all of that. And tomorrow is Thursday, so I got to go to town in the morning, so it'll be about a half a day. Need to service my mill, give it a good oil change and a few things, but I'm not going to do that till spring for the next season. It's not going to get much use in the winter time. Frozen wood does not cut well. Supposed to be decent the rest of the week. I think it's done snowing. Rain last night. So tomorrow we'll turn this into a squared beam. And I got to determine how wide I want them to be. I'm thinking 6 inches wide, max. 5.5 to 6 inches wide for shingles. Check the width here, because I think I can make, I could make some shingles out of this. I could just leave it like this and cut it into blocks. I got a little bit of bark here, just a tinge of bark here. That's the only spot on this side. The rest of it, when I go to make shingles, I could trim all this off the shingles, and I can get a ton more shingles that way. So that's where we're at. So you can see why. I mean, if this was sanded smooth, this is Tamarack. You can see why it makes nice furniture, all this nice grainage. It's beautiful grain. Almost hate to make this into a bunch of shingles, but it makes great shingles too. And I've got more Tamaracks on the property. A lot of them are small. This was a pretty good sized tree, so that I cut down last year. At any rate, I am probably going to make a picnic table next year, partially out of Tamarack. The tabletop and the benches. In fact, these pieces that I have over here, I'll show you again. So these pieces over here, I was going to make 2x4s out of them. I don't need to though. So I think what I'm going to do is that keg I need a top for. I'm going to use this wood here. This is so beautiful. I'm going to make a tabletop on top of that keg, and I'm going to inlay some old silver dollars where you'd set your cup. And I'm going to do 4 of the silver dollars in this, and then I'll do a centerpiece inlaid. And I've got some stuff to clear over it. Nice thick clear surface. That'll be a project this winter. Turning this into a table. So I'll be moving this stuff inside the shop to keep it dry so I can work it. I will need to, I'm not worried about the edging, so I need to cut this with the mill, square off the edging, and determine how much width I want when all is said and done, and laminate them all together and anchor them down to the top of the keg. But yeah, I think that'll be a neat project this winter. That'll give me a table to sit at, and off the same tree I'll cut some rounds, and I'll make some, well, not benches, I'll make some stools. Later on, picnic table. I'll do the bench tops and the tabletop out of Tamarack, and I'll do the logs out of pine. It'll be a log picnic table. Thank you for watching my video this week. I hope that you liked it. Next week we'll be working on making shingles with the shingle making tool, which you'll see that next week. I'll get that cut into some lengths to work with, and let's see if we can't get the gable ends done before the snow gets here. And other than that, then we'll start working inside that shop and doing some projects inside there. And I got a couple other things I want to show you that are coming up. And other than that, if you liked it, I'd really appreciate a thumbs up, and comments are great. And please stick around to see what's coming up this winter. I'm going to be probably really soon. I think one of my main projects this winter is to start working on the window frames. Those will take a bit of time, so don't expect to see a lot of progress in each video on those, because there's a lot of parts to them. And I got a bunch of Tamarack already been sitting and drying for a year. We'll see what's still good to use. I'll use that, what isn't. As long as I can get up and get pieces of this same Tamarack, I will keep milling and doing stuff as the weather allows. So please stay tuned. I'm trying to do a lot more this winter than I have done in the past. Next winter is going to be awesome, because that shop will be complete, and I'll have the cubic wood stove ready to roll. I've already started installing it. I've got a video going on that. I've got to wait till I can buy the rest of the pieces and finish going out the roof. Could show you what I've done, or I could just wait. So I haven't decided how I'm going to go about that. Thank you for watching my video this week. I've got the small gable end done. We'll start on making more shingles for the other gable ends. And like I said, the previous shingles are going to be used at this same end, because they're small, they're handmade, they're different. And I'll just keep it kind of on the same thing. The other sides are going to be done right here. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to make shingles with a shingle making tool. Now, I think that'll be interesting for you. And then hopefully we'll be installing them and getting that done too. At least one of the windows would be nice to get done next week. Hope you enjoyed it. Please come back again and see the rest of the shingle making. And give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Please leave a comment. Take care. Have a good weekend. We'll see you next week. Bye.